What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. This episode, we got an empty trailer. I think you know what that means. Guys, so welcome back. If you're new to the channel, I am Joby. This is the Natural Gearhead Garage channel, and we got my Duramax all hooked up to an empty car hauler back there, which means we're going to pick up another project. And this one is one of my bucket list cars. I've got a list of cars that I want to own before I exit the earth. So this is one of them. Hopefully we can check that box, but we got to go look at it. He only had 2 pictures listed, and this thing has been on there. I've been messaging him back and forth for a few months, and we haven't been able to make it work. I guess he's been out of town, out of the country a lot, stuff like that. I don't know. We kind of just been going back and forth, just keeping tabs on each other. And today's the day. He's in the same town as me. We're gonna go check this thing out, see what it looks like. Hopefully it's everything that he said it is, and it's got a clean title on it. We get this thing bought, thrown on the trailer, brought home, and one of those boxes are gonna get checked on my bucket list car. So let's go check this thing out. All right, so we're here. She's gonna go find the title. You gotta see this thing. All original steel 1930 coupe. Has the original engine. It still has the wood wheels on it. This thing is crazy. We're trying to, she's gonna grab the title. We're gonna try to make a deal on it. We'll make sure the title matches, and then we'll start loading this thing up, hopefully. All right, so we're heading back to the house for now. The trailer is still empty. They had a title, found a title. It was a good Florida title, but we couldn't find the VIN on the car. Where it appeared the VIN plate would have been, it's no longer there. Maybe it fell off. I don't know. They're going to do some more research, but without being able to match the car to the title, I can't buy it. I can't buy something, put quite a bit of money into it. They wouldn't come off the price, and it was fairly expensive, but the body was really good on it, and it was very original. Actually, a little bit too much original, maybe. Still had the wood wheels, frame. I mean, everything looked in place, but not being able to have a title to match the VIN. If I put a bunch of money in it and I go to sell it one day, that guy's not going to want to spend a bunch of money if he has a title that doesn't match the vehicle, and I can't prove that. So I just couldn't do it. So they're gonna do some more looking and see if they can find the plate. Maybe they took it off, I don't know. But so they're gonna work on that. But the day is not over yet. We still have a trailer on the truck. I'm not sure if we're gonna need it, but I did get a call from a friend, and we're actually gonna swing by his dad's house, and he might have something else we might pick up. So the day is still young, and there's another vehicle on the line already. It's not nearly as old, but we're gonna check that thing out next. We'll bring you with us. Let's go check it out. All right, so we are in my wife's car because this car is supposed to drive. Hopefully it will make it back to the house, because we're about, I don't know, 30 minutes from the house. So, and there's a lot of traffic. So we're gonna see how this thing goes. You'll see it here in a minute. Let me go get it. And it probably needs gas, so we'll probably go to the gas station first. But let's check this thing out, make sure it runs, and it will make it to the house. So we made it to the gas station. Here's a little peek of what it is. 2003 Yukon XL, but it's the 3/4 version. It's got the 8-lug wheels. These are the same wheels that were on my Duramax. 6-liter 4L80. It's got 290 some thousand miles on it, but she's clean. You know, it's not too bad. And even the interior is pretty nice. Got the tow package on it. Needs cleaned up a little bit. That's no big deal. Antifreeze. That's not a great sign. Hopefully it don't have overheating issues. So that is a lot of antifreeze. Power steering fluid and oil. So those may leak. We'll have to keep an eye on that. But it seats a ton of people, and the interior, come around the other side here. It's kind of a gray color. It's pretty nice. The interior is not too bad. She's pretty clean. It is actually cleaner than I thought it was going to be. Door panels are in good shape. Let's check the front. Now, the front has a little tear here, but it is power seats. Door panels are good. There's some mold going on down in here. He said that the windshield leaks, and yeah, she's a little moldy. I don't know if I want to peek under here, but yep, some mold there. She's a little damp, but the door panel's in good shape. It's got Bose speaker system in it. The dash is a little cracked, and the headliner, that's all normal stuff in these old GM trucks here. But the heart of the beast, that's where it's at. Let's look. So the 6.0 4L80 and the heads, let's see if we can zoom in. It's got 317 heads on it. And it's actually, if you look around, it's really clean. I mean, she needs cleaned up a little, but it doesn't look like it's covered in oil. For the miles that it has, it looks pretty clean. Now, there are some issues with the windows, which normally not a big deal to me. The windows work or not, it'd be nice. But since the AC compressor is coming on, but on the way over here to the gas station, it was not blowing very cold. The windows being up and the Florida heat, whew, it's rough. I just threw in about 6 gallons of 93 octane to try to bring the octane levels up. It'll mix in with the older stuff. He said he put gas in about a month ago, so it shouldn't be too bad. I brought this cheaper scanner because the engine light was flashing on me. I just want to verify and see what's going on there real quick before we make the complete journey. I do have my wife over there in the chase car, so if we have any issues and we had to go home and get the trailer, we could, but I'm thinking so far we're going to be just fine. All right, yeah, the engine light was flashing. I was wondering if it had a misfire. It is showing a random misfire. Not the best in the world, but we'll go ahead and just do this, fix it real quick. Beep, boop. Yeah, it's gone. We'll scan it, make sure it's completely cleared. Yep, look at that, completely fixed. Well, hopefully some of that fresh 93 will help a little bit. And we'll just see what happens. We'll light this thing back off and make our way home. All right, before I pull out, I'm gonna fire this thing up and go try all the individual buttons on the doors. I got this one to come down, but it didn't like it, and I have an idea that it might not go back up, but I need them down because I am cooking in here. Get them down, and it looks like there might be an O'Reilly's just up the road, and maybe we'll stop there, grab some seafoam or something, dump in the tank. So on the journey to the house, maybe it'll clean up some injectors or something and make this thing run a little bit smoother. So let me see if I can get some windows down. All right, so I got 2 O'Reilly's, and I managed to get 2 of the windows down in the back. The front ones, the switch don't seem to be doing anything, so my wife is gonna look for a burnt fuse. She loves, right? She loves these kind of vehicles. Oh boy. But I went and got some Behrman's fuel injector cleaner. I love this stuff. This or Seafoam, either one, but stuff's a lot cheaper and it works really good. We're gonna pour this in the tank there, and hopefully, you know, she can work her way through there on our way home. So, because we got a little bit of a drive, a lot of traffic, it's hot. We'll see how it goes. Dump this stuff in real quick. Yep, this is pretty much rebuild everything. This can of this stuff, look at that. Oh yeah, you know she's good now. And that's fixed. All right, so that was a bust. We checked the fuses and whatnot, wasn't those. We got power to the panel. The switches on either driver or passenger front door do not operate the windows, and they don't click or anything, so I'm not sure. We'll figure that out when we get home. So we're just gonna try to get it to the house because it's getting hotter and hotter, and I want to make it before I pass out from the heat. So we're going to start trucking that way. Here we go. We do have good oil pressure. It's running 40 PSI. Oh, the engine misfire is back. So that is a current one. That is definitely current for it to come back that quick. So definitely have some kind of misfire. We got half tank of gas, which it said empty earlier, but now it says half tank. Our water temp says right where it needs to be, about 195. Battery's charging. And trans temp, actually. It's got a trans temp gauge. It's right where it needs to be. So far, so good. We are in quite a bit of traffic out here. And in the Central Florida area. She's idling a little rough. I think it's that misfire. I'm hoping that kind of resolves itself. But despite the windows being up and the AC not working and it being hotter than the face of the sun out here, the windshield wipers and horn surprisingly work just fine. So that's good. And we're at a red light. Then we go through that red light, and it's red light and a red light, and then a red light. But right after that one, the good news is there's another red light. Not a lot of airflow going on in here. A little bit longer. All right, we got some miles under our belt here, and it seems to only be missing really under idle. When I'm cruising along, I have no flashing engine light, but soon as I come to a stop at a stop sign or a red light, because there's a lot of red lights, it immediately comes right back. And it does run, definitely runs a little bit rough. Could be just from sitting a lot. I'm not sure. I'll have to get the other scanner and really dig into the ECU and see if I can see anything in there. But for now, we're cruising along by the lake. It looks nice and cool out there. Whew, I bet it is. If I could only see. Ah, boy. We're almost there. All right, so it's raining pretty good now, and I got this leaf stuck in the wiper blade. It's not doing a great job. I know it looks okay on camera, but I can barely see, and we got a problem because the windows are still down in the back, and I cannot roll them back up from the driver's seat, so I can only use it on the door switch. So it's gonna get wet back there for a little bit. Florida, the thing is with Florida, it's gonna rain, and then hopefully it's either gonna rain really, really hard for a long time and flood everything, or maybe rain for a little bit and then dry up and just get humid again. So we're hoping for the second one. All right, so it finally stopped raining and we got it back to home base. So I'm hooking up my diagnostic tool here, and we're gonna see what's going on and take a little peek under the hood and into the brain of this thing and see what's going on. We got 2 codes in the powertrain system, so we gotta see what's going on there. We'll read them. Let's see what we got. There you go. We got engine misfire detected, fuel transfer pump flow insufficient. Now he said he had a fuel pump replaced, but it is hard to start. When you crank the key, it just kind of cranks. It takes a while to start, or you kind of give it some gas, open up throttle blades, tends to fire up easier. So either this is previous or something's going on with it right now. But this gives us a little insight on what's going on. We knew we had to misfire. I was hoping it was going to clear up with that Behrman's, but not sure. It's probably something. He said he had the spark plugs replaced, but I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to look around, kind of peek at that stuff and see what's going on. Go ahead and do a cylinder power balance test here. We're just gonna kind of see what we got here. We'll go into injector number 1, and we can turn it on and off. And I'll just go through all the injectors here, shutting them off one by one, and kind of seeing if we have any change. And I'll get back with you and let you know how it goes. All right, went through all that, shut them down one at a time. It was hard to tell. I couldn't really tell if it was getting worse because I can only do one at a time because it's already running a little bit rough. So I'm going to go into misfires here and just select all these cylinders and see if we can see which one is misfiring and how many times it's misfiring. Maybe that'll give us a little insight to what's going on. So we got this pulled up. You can see cycles of misfire, and this value is constantly changing and going up. Cylinder 1, 0 misfires, 2, 3. Now cylinder 4, we got a lot going on in the misfires there. So cylinder 5, 0 misfires. Cylinder 6, a lot, 7 and 8. So it looks like our problems are with number 4 and number 6 cylinders. So got to see what's going on with these cylinders, but we definitely got some misfires going on those 2 cylinders. Now I believe when I rev it up, this will flatten out because our code goes away and it runs much better, mostly at idle, but it's definitely a problem. All right, so I got my wife in there. I'm going to have her rev it up, and we're going to see if these misfires go down at all. Go ahead and rev it up again, about 1,500 or so. So we're watching the cylinders, see what happens. See if these go away. Still going up here, oh, 0. Cylinder 6 is no longer misfiring. Still have misfire on number 4 though. All right, shut it down. All right, so you can see definitely changes. Now that it goes back down to idle, number 6, starting to come back. Starting to have a few misfires in there. There it goes, starting to count back up on how many it has. Definitely something at idle, so gives me something to start looking at anyway. So now that we definitely verified we have a misfire on number 4 and number 6, your even cylinders are over here on your passenger bank, 2, 4, 6, 8 in that order. That's going to be our center 2 cylinders right here. So chances are it's probably going to be a coil or a spark plug wire, something like that. I did check the connections. They are hooked up, the coils, and the wires look decent, nothing there. So I'm going to go ahead and pull the plug wires off, take a look at the spark plugs. I'll start there, see what that looks like. If that all looks good, we'll put that back together, fire it back up. We'll disconnect the coils one at a time, see what that does. If nothing, and it seems like the coil's dead, well, then we have a whole nother engine right over here. Spare engine. So we've got coils. This is a 5.3. We've got coils that should swap right over into that thing. So we'll go that route at the end if that's the case. We also got some plug wires here that we can swap over. So start pulling these plugs. Right, so the 2 plugs are out. Number 4, number 6, they're definitely wet and smell like fuel. So I'm going to clean them up and verify that the plug itself actually works over here on a little small engine that I have. So we got the plugs all cleaned up, and they actually look pretty good. These are fairly new. They've been replaced recently for sure. So the gaps look nice. They don't look completely worn out. So I'm going to throw them in this little engine here. I'll pop this off, pop this guy in, ground that out, pull the little handle, see if we get a good spark. That'll verify these are good to go. Okay, so plugs are good. We verified it on the Spark Plug Checker 9000. So we're gonna check the resistance real quick on the spark plug wires and then go from there. All right, this wire is 1.4K ohms. We'll check the other one real quick. Second wire is also 1.42K ohms. We'll pull a couple off of that spare engine and just compare to see where we're at. It seems pretty good though. So this is the plug wire off the spare engine right over there. It's reading right at 1K ohms. I actually checked 2 of them. And this is the other one. It read exactly the same. So all these plug wires are reading within spec. So we'll just put the plug wires back in the truck along with the spark plugs, pull a couple coils off of that, which I'm not 100% sure those are good. That engine did run, so it should be fine. Take a couple of those, slam them in the truck, see if that fixes our issue. We already pulled 1 coil off of this engine, and that was for this truck here. It had a bad coil, so this thing's kind of getting stripped down, which I do want to use this engine, so I'm probably going to have to buy some coils at some point, but for now, we're just going to keep robbing coils or whatever we need off of this engine, and then we'll worry about that later when we actually need it. Old parts on old junk. Here we go. All right, so we pulled the coils out of the Yukon, and I labeled them XL Yukon, number 4 and number 6. Now, these are the ones off the donor engine, and you can see that they are the exact same part numbers, which is what is nice about a lot of these LS engines. That's a 6-liter from 2003, and this right here is a 5.3 from 2004, yet a lot of the parts interchange and swap and whatever. It makes it really nice, and this is a great platform. So Chevy kind of stayed with that whole small block Chevy type deal, keeping parts interchangeable, which is nice. So we're going to go ahead and slam in these ones from the donor engine, fire it back up, see what happens. So we got the donor engine coil packs installed on this engine along with its original spark plugs and wires. So fire it back up, go back into the computer here and see if we still have the misfire. So we're up and running. It still started slow. It does seem to sound smoother, but we're gonna go in, select all these and see what we got. All right, so according to this, it looks like 4 and 6 are still misfiring. Not as much, but definitely misfiring. So, strange. So I don't know. I'll just have to continue down the journey, hunting that down and seeing what's going on. Maybe we'll unplug these coils real quick and just see if we hear a change. So we'll try number 4. I don't hear anything change. Let's try number 2 and just see, because it should change, because according to this, it's not misfiring. Oh, the clip's broke. Yep, you can hear it idle down. Plug it in. Smooths back up. Try that 4 again. Yeah, I'm not noticing a change there. So I can check for power on this wire and make sure that this thing's actually getting power to the coil. Probably do that next. Okay, engine off, key on. I got the ground going just to the alternator. Going into the pink wire, this is number 2 cylinder. And we have the 12.4 volts. So we'll go over to number 4 cylinder and see if we have 12.4 volts. Says that we do. So now we need to check number 6. I'll pop that off. All right, we're on number 6, pink wire, 12.4 volts. So we're getting power to all the coils. All right, so I fired it back up. I just threw an inline spark plug checker guy on here. And I know in the video it looks like the spark is stopping for some reason, but it's firing over and over and over again. In the video it looks intermittent, but in real life it doesn't. So I don't know if it has something to do with the frame rate, but I'm gonna move on to number 6 and see if it fires the same way. So we definitely have spark there. All right, so we're hooked up to number 6. And again, I know in the camera it looks like it's skipping, but it's actually not. So it's firing good there. So I'm gonna go ahead and hook this back up. Okay, so we went ahead and pulled the nose of this thing in the shop, and some things have evolved because the sun was getting hot, so I had to get in here before it tried to kill me. But where we're at now, we checked that number 6 and number 4 plug with the little light. That was working okay. You start chasing your tail a little bit. I know we checked the spark plug wire, but I decided to pull number 2 plug wire off to put it on number 4. And when I did, number 2 spark plug was extremely loose. Like, you could wiggle it around. So I tightened that, I pulled it out, cleaned it, put it back in, tightened it up. Not that it was causing the issue for number 4 and number 6, but I probably need to go and check all the spark plugs at this point. But for now, I went ahead and threw the coils back in that were in here already, because through process of elimination is why we went ahead and swapped in the ones off the donor motor. We didn't actually check the coils. Threw those back in, put that little light back on with those coils. Plugs are still firing with those coils, so those coils aren't bad either. So it's going down possibly a bad path. We could have something going on with the head or a head gasket. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and pull the plugs on this side over here, disconnect the coils, put a compression tester on, and see what we're looking like for compression. Hopefully we're all good. I'll check the whole bank and make sure they're all even. So let me go ahead and do that, and I'll get right back with you. Okay, all the plugs are out. We're gonna do a quick compression test. Go ahead. Okay, about 175. That's number 1 cylinder. We'll go through all the cylinders, see what it looks like. Okay, so we had pulled all the spark plugs and did all the compression tests on all of them. I'll show you the plugs. I'll show you what we came up with the compression. Here are all the spark plugs, and you can kind of get a visual on what they're looking like, even though we had cleaned, which ones, 4 and 6. So we had cleaned those, and they look like that already. So it's kind of how they're burning. This one is broke. I'm not real sure if it was cracked already, because sure didn't feel like I broke it. But this was number 8, which said it wasn't misfiring, so I'm not real sure what's going on there. I definitely didn't drop it or anything. I don't know why it's so destroyed. I never removed a plug and had it look like that before. I have a plug out of the other engine, which is also AC Delco, but I did notice on these plugs, the AC Delco is written different. Now, they may have updated it, unless it's I hope it's not a knockoff spark plug that's in here, but they may have updated it, because these are pretty old plugs. These are out of the spare engine, and I believe they're the originals. So not sure about that, but let's look at the compression test. All right, so here's all the results. Cylinders 1 through 7, cylinders 2 through 8. Looks like 170, the 2 cylinders that were in question, 175, 170, 165 pretty much every time. Maybe a little bit higher, 170, 175. So these are all within spec. The other bank, basically 175 on every hit. Very consistent over here. These a little bit off. The engine is warm, which you want to check it warm. I had pulled the fuel pump relay, so we weren't just turning the fuel pump every single time. All the spark plugs were out at the same time, and we tried to kind of crank it the same amount each time. So these are all within spec no matter what. I think you want about, I don't know, roughly 10% from the highest to the lowest, and we are well within that. So compression's good at least. All right, so here's where we're at. I'm kind of over the misfire thing for today, because it is getting hot outside. And I thought it was gonna be a quick, easy fix with a coil or a plug or something like that. Turns out we haven't figured that out. But in the end, here's where we're at with the engine. We know that the engine is good. We know it's got good oil pressure. It didn't overheat. The oil looks nice. I do want to address the misfire maybe in the future here, but it doesn't need to be done because we're going to rip this thing out, and before it goes into something else, it's probably going to get head gaskets, valve springs, cam, all that anyway. I'll see the internals and see what's going on if there's something major going on. I could do a leak down check, but again, there's really no need at this point. It does run good enough to move it around. And maybe it's something in the fuel injection system. I did go through and make sure they're firing with my stethoscope. I could hear them all clicking. Maybe they're just plugged up. I don't know. I got that Behrman's in the tank working its magic. Maybe if a fuel injectors, a couple of them are kind of plugged up, maybe it'll clean them out and it'll just start running good. I don't know. But for now, what I'm gonna do is clean up all those spark plugs, jam all that back in, put the fuel pump relay back in, get this back where it goes, jump on the inside and take a look at that driver's side window because we do need to still move this around the yard. It's 1,000,000 degrees outside. It'd be nice to be able to roll the window down. And I don't know if it's the switch or the motor. If it's the motor, it's probably just gonna stay broken at this point. But I don't think that it is because it doesn't operate the passenger or the driver's side, those switches. So maybe it's something with the switch, but we're gonna hook the machine back up and see if we can't power that thing up and down and check the motor and see if that's good. But for now, I'll throw this together. I'll see you on the inside in a minute. You can see that it does nothing with the switch. So is it the motor? Is it the switch? We're gonna come over here and see if we can't actuate this window and see if it does anything. So let's go window down. Takes it a minute to kind of actuate. Oh, there it goes. Okay, so the window itself is good. So let's see if it'll go back up. So we'll go down here, we'll select up, and you can see the status is down, now up. So it should start coming back up, hopefully. Oh, there it goes, nice. Scared me there for a minute, but. So it's definitely something in the switch. I'll have to take this apart, see if the connections need cleaned or if it's just unplugged or whatever, because we already checked the fuses, and obviously the fuses are good if it's working with this. So that gives me a little idea to start looking into the switch. So that's also very helpful. So you can see how a bi-directional scanner tool can be really helpful in troubleshooting issues. Now we know it's not the power window motor, it's the switch. So I'm probably gonna pull the switch out, clean it up, clean up the connections, mess around a little bit, see if I can get it working. If not, I'm gonna leave it because I'm not putting a bunch of money into this thing. I'm not trying to restore this vehicle. We just want the engine, drivetrain, transmission, rear end, possibly, stuff like that. Basically things that will make other things motor down the road at a high rate of speed. And as for the misfire, I definitely want to address that. I'm going to maybe put a little more time into that and see if we can get it dialed in. All right, welcome to the future cam of the Yeehaw Yukon. I'm calling it right here. So I got an update, and I think the misfire is fixed. And it's something I probably should have checked early on. Always check the easy things first. Let me show you what I got going on. All right, so this particular truck runs a vacuum reference regulator for fuel pressures, which means it runs a lower fuel pressure at idle under vacuum. When you give it gas, the pressure increases because of the loss of vacuum. That's how the regulator works. So I've got a gauge hooked up to my fuel rail. We've got it all up here hanging. I had checked it at idle and it seemed a little low, and I thought, man, I'll check full pressure and see how this regulator is working. So I went down the fuel pressure regulator. You unplug the vacuum line and this pressure should just go all the way up to like 60. And when I did, a bunch of fuel came out of the fuel pressure regulator. So when you pull the vacuum line off the fuel pressure regulator, gas should not come out. There's a diaphragm in there and a screen, and it did, which tells you that the diaphragm is ruptured. So got on Scamazon, picked me up a fuel pressure regulator for 13 bucks, but let me show you the old one. All right, so here's our old one. This is the screen that was in it. I don't know if you can, yep, that's nasty. And here is the regulator itself, which is disgusting. And it obviously leaks fuel through the diaphragm in through here and comes out the vacuum port, which is not good. I'm gonna fire this thing up. We're gonna check the fuel pressure and see if it works and see if we're still leaking gas out of the regulator, and also see if it's misfiring. Well, she fires right up. That's already a step in the right direction. It would not fire up like that before. You had to sit there and pedal the gas. We don't have an engine light blinking, which means our misfire isn't active. Let's go around to the engine. All right, so get a look at our gauge here. The engine sounds really smooth. Looks like we're running about 52 PSI. We'll disconnect the vacuum line from the regulator. You're gonna have a vacuum leak. You can plug that if you want. And looks like now she jumps up to 61 PSI. We have no fuel coming out of our regulator. We'll hook our vacuum line back up. This gauge should just drop right down. We're right back down to 52 PSI. Sounds really smooth. We'll check inside, make sure that engine light isn't flashing. You can see that our dash is nice and clear. So there you go. She's dialed in. All that work for nothing, but we did learn a lot about the engine. We got good compression, and you know, we gotta look at the plugs and all that stuff. So yep, unneeded, but it's good info to have. So that was just a little insight from the future cam here. All right, keep watching the video. Thanks for watching the future cam. So we'll find that down the road if we have to. I'd like to fix it, but if not, I'm not gonna put too much more time into it. As long as it starts up and moves around the yard, I'm good with that for now. And but I mean, look at this bad boy. Yukon XL, 2003, 8 lug. It's got a 14 bolt rear end, 6 liter, 4L80, all the good stuff to make this thing go fast. Well, not this thing, but something else. What? I don't know yet. It might be the Blazer that we picked up. I'm not real sure, you know, you tell me. Maybe it might be something that I don't even own yet. I'm not sure what I'm gonna put that in, but whatever it is, it's gonna motor out and it's gonna be able to have a transmission behind it that's gonna hold the power. So stay tuned for that in future videos. If you wanna, you know, like, subscribe, share, that kind of stuff, that'll keep you up to date with what I got going on. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.